Right at it. Right at it. Oh, he's done it again. Just as he did at the John Deere for his first win.
Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of the Go Get That podcast. We are joined for episode 76 from Mrs. Elise, the goated golf gambler on Twitter, at ES Golf Bets if you'd like to follow. She has all of the winners. She will be joining us for the players this week because it just means more. We are very excited this week. It's a week that Jordan has historically played fantastically. We expect big things out of Spieth this week. But in case you couldn't tell, that was very sarcastic. He is only top 40 once, I think, and he's missed twice.
Well, no, T48, T41, so he isn't even top. So he's only top 40
Oh my
once.
God.
Because
That's
the
unfair.
T4, that's it.
Well,
because of the T4. So the other ones, it's either he misses cuts or he's below T50 or he's below T40.
Lots of weight into the T4.
Just gonna put that out there. All of our research this week has been based off of the T4 round from 9 years ago. So that's what we're gonna base the course
before the course redesign as well. Back when it was in May.
Thanks for that. But still, it's a good week.
I forgot it switched months.
Oh man, yeah.
This is not good already.
This is a different tournament than the one Chase Spieth T4'd at. But nonetheless, course history does not matter at this course, so don't worry about it. I'll let Dan and Jordan give their thoughts before you hear from Elise in a second. But just off the bat, wanted to say I really don't know what to expect coming into this week. I'm kind of just along for the ride. I want to see what he decides to do with the putter to not bounce back, but build off of what he had from mid-range last week. Congrats. First of all, I just wanted to get this out of the way as well. Congrats to Jordan on the Lamar Jackson franchise tag. I didn't want to wait till the end.
Thanks.
I know he's thrilled with that.
No, I'm not thrilled with that, but there's a lot of unfinished business with Mr. Lamar, but it's all my attention's on Mr. Spieth. And yeah, you kind of said it well, building off of last week. It's actually funny. Like, he putts terribly here, but I'm not as concerned about that as I was what I saw over the weekend, like off the tee and with the ball striking, because you really got to have that rolling around Sawgrass to play well. And in terms of I guess the putter worries me still from 4 to 8 feet, but outside of 10 feet, I'm gaining confidence. I know he does not putt well here, but I still think he will make a decent amount of the 10 plus footers. I'm just a little concerned if he can get the ball in play, but we should find that out pretty early Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to say by hole 9 on Thursday, you kind of know where this week is going to go. And, to your point about the putter, and honestly, his short game has been pretty bad around here as well. And that's been working really well in recent weeks. So the players is interesting, and I'm sure Elise probably has more on it than I do, but the course history is kind of sticky for some people, but also not sticky at all. Jason Day obviously won in 15, but he's got a bunch of missed cuts on there. Guys like Webb Simpson have a bunch of missed cuts on there. So it's a place where you can feast or famine, I suppose. And maybe it's time for Jay Spieth to feast a little bit, but
I would agree.
I don't know if we want to talk about that interview at all either.
I want to hear from Elise.
I would love for you guys to talk about that because I haven't yet to watch it, so I would love to hear.
I haven't watched the interview yet either, but no one asked him about his back, so
no,
that's also
that's good.
Thanks for the brilliant media. We have in our country right now.
Colin Morikawa was like, "Do you live in Florida?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "So do you practice with those guys in Florida?" He's like, "No." It's like, "No, I live in Vegas, pal." The
PGA Tour is credentialing these people instead of the Go Get That podcast.
Exactly.
I feel like we deserve to be credentialed, especially when we're bringing people on the podcast like Elise. I feel like it just grows our credibility.
Yeah.
So,
don't disagree there.
Elise, what were your when you kind of built your card, what were you looking at this week? Like, was there a couple main things that kind of shaped the directions you went?
Recent form is probably like the main thing, because you're right, Dan. Like, course history doesn't mean a whole lot here. Probably the person with like the stickiest course history out of the elite players is Justin Thomas. So you're really wanting to look at like recent form, last 36 rounds. Because you want to have like ball strikers coming in, I think. Because that's what you're going to need. And the rough is up apparently this year, so that's going to be
that as well.
That's even more important, I think, this week, that you're going to have. You want to have someone that's good on approach, and putting, because putting is so up and down too. So someone can have a hot putting week and turn it on if they're good at ball striking. So I think that's really what I was looking for mostly.
I actually, regarding the rough, we crap on the tour a lot for, like the easy venues, but I'm going to applaud them here. I mean, the rough is at 3.5 inches this year instead of the usual 2.5. So like they're making this place like tough.
Well, I'm hoping that last week's kind of Twitter spiel that went around about how what Rory McIlroy said was false, sort of. Oh. I hope the PGA Tour gets that message at some point, sometime, because I really do think they try and make courses birdieable for our entertainment when most of us would rather see carnage down the stretch.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely
20 under or better.
They sabotage Craig Ranch every year.
Yeah, Craig Ranch could easily be a U.S. Open golf course if they just set it up the right way.
100%. Like if the U.S. Open was in April or March, Craig Ranch.
Yeah, if it was playing Firm, Brown.
Right.
Yeah, it would be.
To the players, right? Like people have said it's kind of soft at the moment. Which makes sense given some of the weather that they've had. It's not too soft, but it's supposed to blow tomorrow. The wind is supposed to be up. Unfortunately, it's tomorrow and not Thursday or Saturday or something like that. But that should help dry it out a little bit and get it to a pretty good spot come Thursday. I'd expect 5 or 6 under to lead after round 1, but it seems like it's going to be a week of 10 to 14 maybe, but probably closer to 10, which I think is ideal for products and viewers and also the players as well.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I see Thursday, Friday, 10 to 15, 10 to 18. And then over the weekend, 8 to 15 both days. So like the wind, there's going to be wind. And with how much water, I mean, you have 17 holes with water in play. That's you kind of alluded to it earlier, Dan, like the course history. I mean, you have guys like Jay Day who play really well and then some years miss the cut. I know we kind of crap on Sawgrass from, time to time, but that kind of tells you how it's a good golf course. If you got guys that are going to win here and then can miss the cut quite a few times, you got to be on to play well. And if you're off, I mean, you're going to have a weekend off.
Agreed. It's well said from the Carp camp.
I try.
Yeah. One thing I was looking at going into this week was actually a player that sort of stood out to me. And I know Dan's mentioned him a lot recently, but Johnny Vegas. I didn't go with him on my card this week, but I was looking at his approach numbers. He sort of fits that model of someone who might not have course history, but it's going to come in and kind of shock people because he's probably hit the ball right now better than he has in his entire career. I'd have to think. I mean, he's kind of been ball striking it all over the place. Now his putting numbers have been borderline abysmal, but
yeah,
I mean, players like that are sort of players to look out for this week. Kind of like the Keegan Bradleys of the world, not to the point where Keegan Bradley should be a lower number than Jordan Spieth this week, but that was pretty shocking. I think Spieth is 41 right now and Bradley's 33.
Oh my God.
Bradley at 33 is something that I never thought I'd see. That is a pretty awful number.
Yeah, people got Bradley at a much better price. There's people out there with Bradley at 90 and 80 on their cards, and that's a fine number to take Bradley at. But if you're taking Bradley at 33 to 1, I think you need your head examined.
Yes, because Elise, I do know that you're usually someone who sort of snipes these players before the value goes down. I know you have like a Rom 10-1 at the Masters, which is nice. But
I have a Finau 55-1 at the Masters. I have
that's pretty good.
A Siwoo Kim this week at 100-1. Jason Day at 65-1 when he's now 30-1 pretty much.
Is Siwoo Kim a Players Champion?
Yeah,
he is.
Yes, he is.
It just came back to me. Wow.
Yeah.
Respect to him. But so the big number that I was looking at this week on your card, like getting Day at 65-1 is quite the steal.
Yeah.
Because he's down to 30. I know me and Dan have him 38, but
both him and Ricky are basically halved at this point. Their prices are halved from what I got them at. Vegas, speaking of Vegas, he is going to make my first round leader card.
Nice.
Sure.
I was thinking of adding a Vegas first round leader, but I decided to go back to a trusty one in the past. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But are there any more thoughts on Spieth? Because I know that the rest of the players, sort of the talks that we're going to do with Elise might take a little longer than usual since we have big cards. It will be more of discussion based, but do we have any more thoughts on Spieth going into the week?
Regarding the back, so he wasn't asked about it in his presser. We're recording this Tuesday night. He played 9 holes earlier, and I got some videos.
He looked fine in those videos to me.
Yeah, he looked fine. He was hitting fairways with the driver, which was nice to see. The driver didn't look to be a problem for what I was told. He actually, I heard that on 16, the par 5, he had a 15-footer for eagle.
Did he make it?
I don't think so. But it's in for birdie on 16. We'll take the birdie on 16.
Oh, that's an excellent point.
We'll take the birdie on 16.
I had a few followers on site that said he looked fine. So
he did lose. Him and JT lost to Max Homa and Tom Kim in their practice round.
Yeah. We'll blame that on JT. We'll blame that.
I was gonna say, or just Max Homa.
Yeah. The only Max Homa, unfortunately, is so bad this week. So
that's tough for him. I mean, I don't know if Max Homa is the kind of guy he could win a Players for sure, but it seems like he's already got, he's got his Farmers, and he'll come up somewhere like a Wells Fargo again, or
he's just so much. I mean, he's just so much better player now, though.
Yeah, 100%.
He can win anywhere.
I think I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree. I don't know about maybe an open, maybe the Open Genesis he's still learning.
Right. I mean, his best putting surface is POA, though, so that's partly why he has so many wins on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, LACC looks like a good spot for his first major, but we'll get to LACC when we get to LACC. I think we just jump in. Like I'm excited about having 10 plays on my card, and
I'm excited to get to discuss them with Elise, because I think first, actually no, I feel like we should share ours first and then have Elise say, because I feel like if she shares ours, it might influence what we have to say. So I feel like we should we should have her comment on what we have.
All right, you're the leader, so
we'll break it up.
I do have to start we'll start with our picks to win, and I have 2 this week that I like, and one of those is Jason Day. He feels like he's due. I was looking at his stats coming in, which is absolutely absurd. He's got 4 straight top 10s. He has missed 1 cut, I believe, that was not a withdraw since the 3M Open last year. He is playing absurd golf. He does 7 of his last 8 top 20s, going back to the Saracen Farms, ridiculous numbers. He's kind of just flown under the radar. He hasn't been in deep contention, but it feels like he's due. It would be a sick win for him to bounce back at, because again, I've always been I'm not a fan, but I've always been rooting for the guy. He's obviously had a really tough life when it comes to golf. He's got really unlucky. He was playing really good golf in 2015, and then the injuries, the vertigo, it just all kind of screwed him over. So I'm rooting for the guy, and I think he gets a win this week. My other play that I wanted to take was Pat Cantlay. Again, he's someone who can play bad or play good, but he'll always give you a chance. I feel like going with Patrick Cantlay is never a bad move. I really like him this week, 18-1. I think he's down more or less than 18-1 now, but I like that pick a lot. definitely not. Definitely wish I could have Day at 65-1, but of course that's
Not on the board.
Not on the board. So I'll take him 38. But yeah, I like those two outrights. I'm interested to see. I want to hear Dan next because I want to see how many of those 10 are outrights.
I can go next. As Bob mentioned, I've got Jason Day on my card as well. I had him on my card last week twice. Of course, he didn't cash either of them because Tyrrell Hatton beat him. But yeah, no, I think he's won here. It was in May. So probably some differences in the way the courses play and the way they set up, but he's playing well. I think the thicker rough suits him a little bit too, because he's strong. Like he's a bigger guy. He pounds the golf ball off the tee. He's been making putts, and like Bob said, he hasn't really been in deep contention, but I think that changes a little bit this week. So he's on my card. And if you've seen the standings, I am way down. So I need to start kind of making a move here. And so I've got 3 other outrights. One's more of a floor, and then a couple other guys. I've got Scotty Scheffler at 11-1. And I know it seems like, oh man, I don't know if Scheffler can win another event, like 6 in the past, 12 months or whatever it would be, but
he's still on a heater.
Man,
he is.
Yeah, he's so good. And 11-1 seems like a bit of like, I feel like he should be in that Rahm Rory category because he wins so much. And that at least gives me a little bit of floor because I'd expect him to be there Saturday.
It never feels like Scheffler's out of it ever. I actually have him for a one and done pick.
Yeah. I mean, he had the quietest T4 of all time last week.
Yeah. But he was always there. I mean, someone had a meme on Twitter and it was like perfect. It's Dwight and Angela from like Office, and just like he's creeping up from behind you. He's always just like right there. And
I think that fits him really well. And I think this course fits him well, right? Like it's with the rough being up, my guess is you guys are gonna have to scramble a little bit more. Scheffler's got that. I guess it might just be like a Texas Magic thing. He's just got some magic hands around the green. So I went there at 11-1. Then I went to Matt Fitzpatrick at 35-1. He played really well at the API. He was seriously in it. I think it was last year, and just kind of melted on Sunday. But then obviously a big triumph at the U.S. Open. So he's kind of gotten over that hump. And obviously rough being up, he's got a lot of ball speed. The neck concerns me a little bit, but I think he showed me last week that he's playing well enough.
It looks to be better, and he said it was better. He said it was better before API, before Bay Hill. So yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about the neck going forward. I was worried about it before API, but API showed me that he's getting back.
Yeah, and I think he lives in Florida too, right? So it's not like he's got his one win in the big win in the Northeast, but I think he's comfortable in this area, so I'm going with him as well. And then I took a long shot. I was deciding between Adam Scott and this guy. I eventually decided with Harris English at 100-1. He had a T2 last week. It seemed pretty quiet as well. He's been pretty up and down, but he's still a really talented player. I think his course history is awful, but
a lot of guys are.
He's been up and down partly because he's been injured as well.
Right. I think he had some good approach numbers last week. The putter has popped recently too. So just at 100-1, it seemed a little long for a guy who's been able to win big events and has played well at Opens US Opens before. So that's kind of my long shot, and maybe English
is a really interesting name because I know that me and Elise have been talking about it for like almost like 3-4 weeks now about Harris English miscut because his approach numbers were just so bad. But last week they were fantastic out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So if he turns that around, 100-1 is way too high of a number for him. So that's an interesting pick. I didn't really think of him for this week, but I like that.
Yeah. And I think too, like people talk about the ball striking. Obviously, it's really, really important around here, but having a short game that can get you out of some tricky spots and then being able to make some putts, like English has shown that his putter can pop and the short game can pop. And so all I needed to see was a little bit of ball striking. And I think there's some serious value at 100-1 when it drops on Monday morning.
So I'm last. Well, you're last, Dan, actually.
Well,
I'm last in the
for our
standings,
rights,
but
for our rights, yeah.
I thought that in there. So I have 3 outrights. I actually only have one towards the top of the board. And that is Max Homa. We were discussing him.
I thought you were going to say Jay Speed.
No, I'm not getting that crazy. Max Homa is a dog. Yeah, he
Alpha.
he's nuts because he struck the crap out of it last week and just could not putt.
Which is not normal for him.
Exactly. You look at his
Usually
putting
makes
numbers,
every 20-footer right in your face.
and yeah, so I went with him at 21-1. The ball striking is just too good to ignore it. I bet him outright last week, and we got close. I bet him quite a few times this year. I bet him for the top 20 in Phoenix. He didn't hit. Didn't bet him for the outright last week. Got somewhat close. Going back to him this week.
Are you worried about him being Jason Sobeld?
Mr. Sobel is a professional, and professionals get it. A blind squirrel finds a nut. That's what I'll say about Mr. Sobel.
Mr. Sobel does not find nuts ever.
I'd be concerned about his putting on Bermuda in general. I know it's probably fine in general, but
yeah, I mean last year he was in the bad draw. He didn't putt great and he T13'd. 2021 did not putt well, missed the cut. In the one round in 2020, the COVID year, he putted really well. So the sample size is still kind of small for me. And he's a good putter.
Yeah, he's a good player. Yeah.
Yeah. And he also lost strokes with a short game last week, which is unusual for him. So I went with Max Homa, and then my 2 long shots. One of them is Mr. Theegala. 90-1 is outrageous. 90-1. I mean, Data Golf has him as the 21st best player in the world right now. It's like he's a long shot, so obviously the odds aren't great for him to win, but I mean, he's coming off a T14 last week, a T6 at Genesis. He missed the cut last year. I think he was also in the wave that just got destroyed, so don't look too much into that. Yeah. Short game's good. Iron play has been really good. A little squirrely off the tee, but I thought at 90-1, that's pretty incredible value. And then my last long shot, we're going way down the board here. 190-1. Sepp Straka. Yeah.
What?
Sepp Straka at 190-1.
Do that.
I need to hear Elise's thoughts on this when you're done.
Well, he's 190-1, so I have 5 on him, so let's get that out of the way first.
How much would that win? Oh my God, that would
955. So mindset here, we're at 190-1, so obviously we're at slim pickings, but he's ironed it since January 1st. He played really well at Honda. I know he did win there. He missed the cut at API, so you're probably not sold yet. He had a T9 here last year, so the course history is half decent. He missed the cut in 2021, but he T9'd here last year. I was looking at his iron play numbers, and he is gaining strokes from 100 to 150, 150 to 200. 90th percentile since January 1st from 150 to 200 strokes gained per shot. He's won before. You look at all the other names in this range. I mean, Billy Ho is 180, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Cage also 180.
Okay.
But I kind of like Straka. He's won on a hard golf course before. It's not like, Mr. Lee does not necessarily win on hard golf courses at Mr. Ranch. Straka's won. You heard me.
That's a low blow.
Mr. Lee has 2 majors.
It's a low blow. But I thought at 190-1, and he hits fairways at an above average clip. I thought it was worth a shot for 5 out of my 200. Go get that points.
And before Elise chimes in real quick, he has, to your point, he has some win equity. Obviously, he won the Honda. He was there at RBC, and he made a double bogey on the last to not be in the playoff with Spieth or something like that. So when he pops, he actually like hits top 5 kind of pop.
Yeah, like you mentioned
20.
that.
Yeah, like if you play this tournament 190 times, you could definitely see Sepp Straka winning one.
I mean,
I'm
looking right here. I mean, he was second at St. Jude last year, second at the Sanderson, a T5 at the Honda. Like the dude, when he can get up there, and he played well.
Right, but I feel like Sepp Straka is trending down in terms of strokes gained. Yeah, which is, I mean, out of the last like how many starts?
It hasn't been pretty.
He's. I mean, Honda was the only one he's gained in the last like 5 or 6 starts. That's why I'd be really hesitant about Sepp Straka. I do like the Theegala pick. On the other hand, though, I think that's a great pick. Sepp Straka, though, I feel like there's other longer shots that you could go to.
Yeah, they're looking at the names now, but I don't mind Sepp. We're right. It's 5 points.
Yeah,
you know, by 5 points.
Yeah. Theegala is a good long shot pick in my opinion. I didn't have room on my card for him, but I personally am a huge fan of Theegala. It would kill me if I was not on his win, but I mean, Theegala's like he's trending upwards. He's gaining on, the last 5 starts he's gained strokes in total, including like 2 pretty significant, like Farmers he gained 12.95 strokes gained. Genesis he gained 10.65 strokes. So I really that's a good pick, the Theegala pick.
Yeah. Do you want to just go by different like forms of bets? We're going to just do placements next and then
what are Elise's plays?
Yeah, what are Elise's out?
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I have my top of my card is Cantlay. Cantlay's playing so well. Like he's one of the 5 or 6 like guys that are gaining the most strokes gained, and I just feel like Cantlay is due. I mean, he quietly was -7 last week at API, and just didn't. I mean, yeah, I know he tends to not perform as well in big spots like majors. If you look at Cantlay's major record, it's pretty bad. The player's not a major though, and so I it's a big purse, not a major. So I think Cantlay, he's just hitting the ball too well. Yeah, and if you're going to take someone that's not the big 3, like honestly, I think like Cantlay's probably your guy.
Yeah,
respect it.
So that's top of my card, and then I have. Well, let me discuss my long shots next. So I have a few long shots. A couple of them are due to futures. So Ricky Fowler and Siwoo Kim are both 100 to 1. They're long shots, but that's mostly because I took them a long time ago. Siwoo Kim I took, I think, either before Sony or after Sony. I mean, obviously Siwoo Kim has a win. Like Siwoo Kim, he is extremely volatile, but that kind of fits players. He either wins or he like shits the bed.
Yeah.
Like there's not that much in between. His floor is, he has a pretty low floor, but he has a very high ceiling. So he can have that like spiked tournament where he just pulls off a win.
And obviously he's a club.
Yeah. And he's obviously won here before. Ricky, he went back to Butch Harmon, which I think was a wise move. I never thought he should have left him in the first place. I get why he was trying to do it, but like he was trying to make himself, on JT and Jordan's level, but that's just like really not who Ricky is. And
very fair.
So
Ricky will unfortunately never.
I mean, he's a good player. He's just not Spieth and JT's level. It's clear.
Very true.
But I do think he's getting back. His game is getting back there. He's trending towards a win. And then I have a really, really long shot.
Ooh. Yes, you do.
300 to 1. My favorite.
You also have 340 to 1 as well.
Yeah, a favorite of mine, Ben Griffin, who I've been betting top 40 every week since, I don't know, like 5 or 6 weeks in a row, and it's hit pretty much every single time. This guy is he's just really good in my opinion. He's gaining strokes, everywhere, pretty much. And yeah, he's up. I had him targeted from like his Corn Ferry days, and so he's just been a really solid top 40 lock every week. So I thought I'd sprinkle a little bit on him on the outright, because again, I don't want to be the one to miss him when he does.
300 is a big number.
Yeah. And the other one I have is Svensson at 340 to 1. I mean, Sven got his win, and he's just like a premier ball striker. I mean, the main issue with Svensson is his putter, so which can turn hot at any time.
Yeah.
So those are my
good number.
Like, long shots. And then I have a couple more. So I have Tom Kim at 40 to 1. Also have Sungjae Im at 40 to 1. Tom Kim I like less than when I first picked him, just because he's like been trending, I feel like, a little bit down. At the same time, he's proven that he can win. He's won twice already. I was on him for both of his wins. I do think the course like fits him. It's not like, he's not like the longest hitter, but I don't think you don't need to be the longest hitter around TPC Sawgrass. You just need to be accurate. So I have him, and then Sungjae Im is the knock on Sungjae is that he doesn't win as much as he should probably, but he's such a good ball striker, and like every week I look at the leaderboard, and Sungjae Im is like top 15 every week. And then I think we've discussed Jason Day. That's my other play at 65 to 1. It's just no brainer at that price, because he's like Ricky Fowler is also, his game is coming back around.
Yeah. Well, I liked what I heard in there. And if we're gonna move on to placements now, I'm gonna kind of steal the Ben Griffin thunder, which I know another one on this podcast is also going to do. But I am going to put 40 on Griffin to top 40 this week. I'm going to use 40 of those points. I used 25 for outrights. That's my only placement of the week. Plus 240 was a steal. Simple as that. He was plus 190 last week, finished like T25. Never should have been plus 190. Shouldn't be plus 240 this week. As long as he hits the ball well, he should be able to get that done. And I know that's my only placement of the week, but I know someone else also has him. So
yeah, I'll steal the thunder again on Ben top 40. I need some of these to start hitting. So, at this rate, he's playing really well. Obviously, he's got a T21 and a T14 in his last two starts, both in Florida. As Elise mentioned, he top 40s quite a bit. I am a little bit concerned about his approach numbers from 150 to 200, but he is an excellent wedge player from 100 to 150, unlike a certain someone. But I think Ben Griffin, he's really good on par fours as well. So if the conditions are somewhat scoreable, he'll make a lot of birdies and should be up there quite a bit. And then I've got 3 other top 40s. Another one on Thomas Dietrich. Guy's played well. His only bad start in the past 6 is the one at the Honda where he WD'd with sinus issues. So bounced back really nicely at API, gains in all categories. He hits it long and straight off the tee, with the rough up this week is going to be more important. And Griffin and Dietrich both haven't played here before, but which, isn't the best thing, but course history isn't too big of a deal here. So hopefully they both come through for me. And then I'm going to got 2 guys who have played here quite a bit. Johnny Vegas, he was mentioned earlier, to top 40 plus 175. As Bob mentioned, he's striking the ball like crazy right now. His putting numbers aren't that great, but he actually putted decent at the Honda, and he's putted really well here actually at the Players. So I'd expect a pretty solid week for Mr. Vegas. And then I'm going to Webb Simpson, champion here. Game has been trending. He was really, really good on approach last week in a T24 at the API. Gained almost 2 shots on approach every day. The driver just let him down a little bit, which is concerning for sure, given the course that we're headed to with the water. But I think this will be the week where Webb kind of reestablishes himself as a fringe top 25 kind of name on the PGA Tour moving forward. And I've got like 40. I don't quite have all my points just figured out for each of those guys, but
so 3 outrights, 3 placements for you so far.
I have 4 outrights, 4 placements.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So I've got 2 more coming up, but we'll save those for.
Yeah, we'll save those.
bit
Jordan.
I have 3 placements too. I have 2 top 40s and 1 top 30. So my first 2 top 40s are.
So that means you ventured off of FanDuel.
No, they have top 30s this week on
Yeah,
FanDuel.
FanDuel has top
Really?
30s. Yeah.
That's usually only a Bet365 thing. So
Barstool Sportsbook.
I had to get this specific player at
Well,
plus
Barstool always has them.
because he was not plus money. But I didn't have a problem doing that. So my top 40s are Wyndham Clark and Chris Kirk.
Kirk.
I was talking to Elise about Mr. Clark, who's plus 200 to top 40. He is, I mean, Data Golf's got him as their 39th best player, plus 200 to top 40. And he's been a top 40 machine. He's top 40 his last 4 events. The course history here is awful, but he's hitting, I mean, he's like absolutely crushing his strokes gain approach number. And
He's a different player though, too.
Yeah, he's way better now than he was when he last played here in 2022 and 2021. At plus 200, that was a lot. And then I'm going back to Chris Kirk, who Bob was on last week. Just plus money to top 40. I mean, he's good at like everything. Like he's not great, but like he hits fairways. His short game's good, and he, his iron and wedge play is pretty good. And he had an off week last week, and he's still, I mean, he's T39, so he barely got in the top 40. But he's top 40, 4 of his last 5 appearances with just 1 miscut mixed in there. Course history here, again, like is sporadic. But I'm going to ride him until he starts playing bad because he's just hitting it too good. And you're going to need to do that this week. And he hits a lot of fairways. So those are my 2 top 40s. And then for my top 30, which I think is my most point play of the week. Yeah, we're going to Kashmir Keith Mitchell. He's been playing so good.
Yeah.
And he flies under the radar. I mean, he is like he's automatic off the tee. He's straight and long, which is there's not many guys that are straight and long off the tee. Again, top 30. He's top 30 in 4 of his last 5 tournaments. And what really caught me here is like he's an automatic player off the tee, and usually with the irons and wedges, he putts so well here. Yeah. Like he's gained strokes putting in 4 or 5 tries. For a guy that's usually his biggest weakness. It would not shock me if he might have a chance to win on Sunday, but I got him at plus money to top 30. I put 60 of my 200 on that.
Yeah, I was looking at Keith Mitchell as well. I almost took him on the top 20 at like plus 230 or something like that because he has a T13 here last year. Like you said, he putts really well here. He's long and straight off the tee. Like, he's killing it. Also, T5 at Genesis as well. So he's playing just extremely good golf. And he could have a really good week. So plus money on a top 30 is a nice play for Keith Mitchell, I think.
Yeah, I like that play.
Great play.
I was considering him. I don't know if I'll have room for out of my placements for Mitchell, but I mean, I had him last week. He got T23, I think.
Oh yeah.
You have T20.
I had T20. He missed it by 1. He bogeyed late. It was very frustrating.
He bogeyed not only late, he bogeyed the par 5 16
yes,
late.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so it was
come on, Kashmir.
Yeah. In Hovland-esque fashion.
Yeah.
So
Elise, did you hear my Hovland rant from yesterday?
No, I did not.
Okay. Well, you might enjoy it a little bit. It's not actually that much of a rant, but I kind of just went off on Victor Hovland for
the really funny thing was he did that rant without knowing that he chunked a 9-iron in contention to take himself out. Like he didn't even know that part yet.
Yeah. I was just like,
Um,
dude just doesn't like. He doesn't have a sense of how to win a tournament.
he was
either
on
just,
that
like-
heater where he won like the Hero, the Mayakoba.
But that's
and,
just
like,
because
Bunch
like
of beta tournaments. They're beta.
But those
just
are Hero has 20 like people. In it.
yeah, and
yeah,
he
but
just like
still, he was.
he wins.
Remember we were
tournament-
talking about how like, oh my god, Victor Hovland's like top 3 in the world. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Well,
1 week.
Hovland wins tournaments because he plays like perfect golf. Like when he wins, he just like flushes it the whole week. When
Yeah, you need
when
to
he
learn
has
how to win
weeks
when you
like the
can't do
one
that.
last
Yeah,
week,
I
he
agree.
like picks really bad moments to have a bad swing. And it's like the short game can't bail him out. The putter doesn't really bail him out all that much.
I would
Like,
agree.
it's like, dude,
Yeah. Do we
come on.
do we have any first round leaders from
I
you
do.
two?
I do.
I will say
All right.
I like
Want to hear
Kirk-
Elise place?
I
Go ahead,
like
Elise.
Kirk-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Elise, what are your favorite placements of the week?
I
besides
do like.
Griffin's
I do
top
really
five?
like Kirk for I mean,
Yeah,
getting
that was a good
plus
one,
odds
too.
on top 40 is insane.
He's an alpha. He's an alpha.
Like,
He is.
I had him top 20 last week. Top 40 is like that's so much easier to hit for a guy like Kirk who's playing as well as Kirk is than a top 20. I mean that's just like no, that's kind of a no-brainer. I love that. I have a sneaky top 40 play that I like, which is Sue. He's first in good drives gained right now, and he's a good putter, and you know
I can't even imagine what that number is.
I've taken him before. Actually, I took one time. I took like all Asians in the top 40. It was like Sue Woo, Sue Woo Ha, and I forget what the other one, and they all hit, which is
Oh
funny.
my god.
the Korean special, Asian special hitting.
He's
yeah.
plus 175 right now. I was talking to Elise about him for a little.
Oh, I thought it would be higher, low key.
He's
still
playing
playing so
so
good.
well. Griffin has
He
been
is.
like, the books have not caught on to Griffin.
No, they haven't.
Like plus 188 last week, plus 240 this week. They really have not.
Elise, I have a question
Still
for
like a
you.
Montgomery situation. What?
Yeah.
Question for you on Griffin. Like maybe the books are like, this guy's gonna crap his. It's the first appearance at the Players Championship. Like
Yes, but they haven't caught on for weeks now. That's
Yeah,
but
this
he's at the
is-
pla-
this
this
is
is
weeks,
the
though.
Players Championship. Like
but it doesn't really
It's
matter.
a glorified tour event. That's why JT won. Like that's so you
Let
pick
it be
guys that
known I
play
would
well
rather
consistently.
win at prestigious Arnold's house than I would at the Players.
Monahan's house.
Monahan's house. Could be just Rory's house nowadays, given the way he.
Oh
Oh
man.
God.
Can you imagine
Oh,
like 30
man.
years Rory McIlroy's the host of the Players Champion?
They asked him about that in his interview this morning. Like, do you
He's
think
the
you can
commissioner.
ask
He's gonna be he's gonna.
What'd they
replace
ask
Jay
him?
Monahan eventually.
They asked
What'd they ask him?
Well, they asked Monahan if he thinks Rory will have his own hosted event one day.
Oh my god.
Well,
They like
What
compared
if-
him to like
what if-
Tiger, Arnold, Jack. Like, are you kidding me?
No thanks. 4 majors.
Yeah, he might host a junior event, but
Speed hosted junior.
I know that's my point.
Anyway, yeah,
Are we into FRLs?
I would
I
love
just
to
like
hear.
other plays. I think now.
Oh,
No,
other-
let's do first round leaders and then we can wrap it up after that because I know Elise wants to give her own spiel on FRLs because she always has some banger FRLs to go. So I can
You have
begin.
one, Bob. Yeah.
I'm right back to Rom. I will not apologize for being that guy who goes back to the best player in the world. He is once again 20-1. I mean, just like
I don't know if you're going to go with big three. I would kind of lean Scotty here, to be honest.
I don't think 20-1 is a right number. And I know Elise, I'm gonna call Elise out on some bias here because I know Elise hates Rom. I know Elise hates Rom, and even I do too. But Rom first round leads this golf tournament probably twice out of 20 times if they play it that many. I just
Yeah.
to at least get a split, like he probably needs what 6, 7.
Yeah, and
Like
he's
he
off in
shoots
the
that
morning.
twice,
race.
once out of every 10 times right now with the way he's
Maybe.
playing.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the 276s he had last week. Because I do think,
Yeah.
like he said it Thursday, like he played perfect golf Thursday, basically. He
Wrong.
didn't hit it great off the tee, but like he said, like this is about as good as golf as one can play. And then he
Wrong.
followed it up with proof that, like, what do you mean wrong? He said that.
I don't think he played nearly his best on Thursday. He had some crazy putts.
Right.
That's the best player in the world.
That's part
What?
of playing golf, though.
Yeah.
Is making putts.
Do you not look at his putting numbers? Like, he's an insanely good putter.
Yeah. And like Rahm will have a good day, you know, and I'm not, you know, I don't dislike the bet. You know, I'd be a little concerned about those 76s because the off the tee stuff has been a bit of an issue. Like, it actually hasn't been as amazing as it usually is for Rahm. So that might get him into some trouble this week if he's missing some fairways.
Especially if he's missing them and he's splashing into the water.
Yeah. A lot of splashes this week.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's going to be, it's hard to do FRL like back to back weeks.
Yeah.
Because a lot has to go right. You have to play a perfect round like on Thursday. The chances of that happening twice in a row to me are very small. And then I am concerned about off the tee for Rahm. I feel like he's been trending down in that category, and this is not a place that you want to like spray it off the tee.
Yeah, but if anybody could like prove us wrong, it's Jon Rahm right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm
like
saying. It seemed
it's
too obvious last week.
Yeah, it's definitely
but like I said, but you have two others that I think, you know, well, Rory is not. Rory managed to somehow get to -8 at Bay Hill, but that's like Rory's playground. Otherwise, Rory hasn't been playing that well. To me, if you're going to go with a big 3 FRL play, I'd go Scotty this week, to be honest. But
could see that. I mean, they're all because they're paired together, right? And they're all off in the morning. We haven't really talked about the draw yet, but it looks to be pretty similar. Like I don't think there's any, I think late early might be the better one just because the wind will pick up a little bit more on Friday afternoon, and there's supposed to be some rain, and you know that might just mess with some folks a little bit. So but obviously going off Thursday morning, like Rahm and Scotty and Rory that's the best time to shoot the lowest score of the week. I also have 2 first-round leaders. If we don't have anything more on Rahm. Nothing. Okay. I have 2 first-round leaders, and they're both actually in the afternoon wave, but I don't really care. Mr. Thomas could very well lead this tournament after day 1, and I'm betting on it. Yeah.
Really?
Thanks. No thanks.
You do realize he's been super slow out of like every tournament. Like
36-1.
His Thursday rounds have been horrible.
I am aware, and
he is due to break out though.
He just feels like the type of dude to shoot 65 on Thursday with no form. I will say he looks quite grumpy. Somebody pointed that out on Twitter that like JT just looks grumpy these days. And it's facts. Like he's just not playing that well. But if anybody, I don't think he's gonna win, but I think he could like just get the juices going for some reason and fire a 65. I mean, he played Friday and Saturday at API were masterful from tee to green. And then
he plays better I feel like he plays better when it's like windy and harder. And that's not gonna be the case on Thursday. I don't know.
Well, it'll be a little bit more windy in the afternoon than the morning, I suppose.
I think he also just puts like too much pressure on himself.
Agreed.
Like, which is why the Thursdays have been bad, because he's just putting too much like pressure on himself, and then when the pressure's off, like then he goes and shoots a low round on when he's out of contention and backdoors top 10 like he did.
Low sack player.
I'm just going to it because it seems like a time he could, and I thought 36 or 35, excuse me, seems just like a number. Like I don't know. I think he does that when he's playing his best. Obviously, he does it more than that, and I think these guys are never that far away from playing their best. And then I'm surprised this is not on the card of Mr. Blute. But I'm going KH Lee first round leader. Because why not? It's a TPC, and Mr. Lee is very capable of having a first round lead. What'd you say, Bobby? Does it 1 in like 7 or something like that?
Past years, yes. Let it be known that even though I didn't pick it for the podcast, if KH Lee birdies anything early, I will immediately be placing a live wager on him first round lead because I will not miss him first round leading.
Yeah, and it just seems like a spot he could. I didn't even look at his numbers. I just saw that he was 131, and I was like 130 to 1, and I was like, yeah, I'm putting some points on that because why not? I don't know. I need something to like kick me back into this competition. I'm like 400 points back of everybody, so KH Lee would be fantastic. What's up?
You're not that far back of me. They're like 220, 230, something like that. 220, yeah.
130 is worth a little bit of sprinkle.
Right. Yeah, I just put 5 on it. So we'll see. I think obviously both in the afternoon, but maybe JT pops, maybe KH pops. Who knows? It'll make for a fun Thursday.
That leaves me. I know Elise will love this. I am going Scotty Scheffler, first round leader. I was looking at first round scoring, and he is 6th. I think he's pissed after Sunday a little bit. He had it was he was the odds on favorite at some point, but I think 18, he had that wedge in hand, and a birdie would have got him into a playoff, if I recall. Wedge came up short, he flubbed the chip. I think he's a little mad. And he is so good. Like, it's insane looking at his data golf page. It's just how good he is. I kind of do the same thing with Homa when it comes to the ball striking. Like, it's just insane. He lost strokes putting last week too. Last year he actually didn't strike it well here last year. I wonder if he was in the bad wave. He putted well last year, struck it horribly. So I'm going to assume he was probably in the worst wave, because like, when does the dude not strike it well? Like, it's absolutely insane.
Putting's his issue, really.
Yeah, and when he putts well, he's in contention pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
So I went with him at, I think, 20 to 1 as well. And then I went with a long shot FRO, one of Bob's former boys. I don't know if Bob likes this guy anymore. I know he cost him a bet earlier. I'm going Grayson Sigg. The first round lead.
Grayson Sigg is a loser.
That's the
loser.
Kind of
I can personally guarantee you he will not give you any financial additives.
I know. I was
to your bank account.
I put how much do I have on him? He's 140 to 1. I put 5 on him to pay 705. He's 31st in first round scoring average. He's in the morning. He's kind of been trending down, but if you look at the whole picture from January 1st, he's ironed it pretty well. He's consistent too. Like, he doesn't really do anything awfully. He hits more than 50. He hits the fairways at a nice clip. He's a pretty decent putter. Again, since January 1st, the iron play as a whole has been pretty good. Especially from 150 to 200. Since January 1st, he's 85th percentile strokes gained per shot. And yeah, he's decent in round 1. And I thought at 100, I mean, you're looking at all these names in the 140 to runs range. I mean, I see Scott Piercy, Doc Redman, Lanto Griffin, Fratelli, like a bunch of dudes that are like kind of like Grayson Sigg, not that great. But Grayson Sigg's played pretty decent in the first round. I figured a sprinkle on 5 points wasn't the end of the world, kind of like Mr. Straka.
Yeah. I could see Sigg in blue and gold leading the day after Thursday.
No, thanks.
I think there's some better longer shots on first.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you.
Like, he was just crapping on your ROM play. So I don't know. Thank you.
Yes, but that once again is biased.
Like, I think Corey Connors, for instance. You know,
what is Connors' number? Like, he's 50.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think, like, for example, like Connors, like a Clark,
Wyndham,
a Johnny Vegas, like, just, you know, people like that.
Like Kelly Craft, maybe.
No.
Kelly. Do you have Kelly Craft?
Kelly Craft?
No, I like some Kelly Craft.
Actually, a sneaky one is Mullinex.
Yeah,
he
was featured last week.
He's off in the morning. He's been like really actually like sneaky good. recently. So I've
Trade Mullinax. Please no.
I mean, I think for like a top FRL top 5, Mullinax is
Yeah.
That's a good
Mullinax and
play.
Kraft T1 after day one. How about that for a start of the week? Then just the
Throw
players.
in Mr. Sig in there. I want to piss off Bob. Let Sig be the first.
Yeah. We'll get a Sig KH T1 at the end of
Oh,
the
that'd
day.
be
Sig-
chills.
That'd be lovely.
Be devastating.
I like how
I
Bob
would
was
take
just
that because
crapping
once
on-
again, I promise you, if KHC first round leads, I will have profited from that. I can personally guarantee you that. Even if I don't get it until like the end, I will throw away $200 at -200 before I risk not winning anything from a KHC first round lead. So I'll put that out there.
Fair.
I know you guys have gone through most of your plays basically in those 4 categories.
Yeah, I'm done. I just want to clarify
done
one
as
more
well.
thing regarding Mr. Rom. You know, we lost over 5 strokes off the tee last week.
I will not apologize for my first round lead pick.
Please
I'll be sticking with it. Let it be known that he is the reason I'm in the lead, and he's the best golfer in the world. Thank you.
It's an excellent point.
And I'm confident. So I have 3 more plays. You have 1 more play, Dan?
Nope. I've said all 10.
I've said all
Wow.
8.
Yeah.
All me with the 3
Yep.
missed cut, made cut bets.
Yep.
Which have been good to me so far. I went 2 for 2 last week with Cole and Morikawa. Shout out Dan for the Morikawa play, and then not taking it.
Yeah, that was questionable at best.
Yeah, I don't-
Dan.
You saw the
God.
forecast is going to be windy. I don't.
Yeah, no,
How did you not take that?
As soon as I saw it, I'm like, hammer, hammer, hammer. And then I just was like, Jason Day's too good. He's winning this week. I'll leave Morikawa alone.
Yeah.
Speaking of Morikawa, like, I know some people are on him this week. If he wins this week, I will be so mad. But there's enough wind to make me stay away from Morikawa. I don't think he misses the cut, but he could win though. I mean, shoot, he's played pretty good golf. Anyway,
Not last week though, which is when he needs not.
yeah, +4.
So I know you guys have gone through 200 points worth of plays. I still have only gone through 80. I have 120 left in these miscut bets. So at first, I'm going to rip, unfortunately, Spieth miscut. It's +255. I'm only putting 20, but the odds are too good to be true. I know Elise loves that. Elise, I think all of Elise's like current wealth is from just betting Spieth miscut at the Players over the years. She continues to talk about it. Last year was like +160, and this year's he's +255, which doesn't make sense to me since.
Well, he was in the bad wave last year, so they probably knew that going in.
Fair, but
anyway, continue.
Anyway, I love that play. My next play will be Billy Horschel to make the cut again. Just kind of weird there. He was +100 earlier in the week, which didn't really make sense to me.
He's like at 180 to 1 to win. I feel like he doesn't win a ton, but it seems like a interesting. He's been struggling.
Well, the number makes sense given the outright number, but it doesn't really make sense given Billy Horschel doesn't miss that many cuts from what I remember.
You're right.
And he plays at Sawgrass. Like he does the play video. Like
so I enjoy 40 on that. And then finally I'm going to go with the man who lost 9 shots approach last week. Was that in 1 round or 2 rounds?
2 rounds.
Okay. Mr. Burns, 60. He's plus money. I think he's +110. I don't know. Whatever's to win 132. Yeah. I think that's good. I think I definitely went with less plays than the others, but
I almost
you had 7, right?
Yeah.
I thought about Sam Burns like top 20 or something.
Ooh,
not actually, but just like It just seems like unless he did pop up on the injury report, so that makes more sense now. But the Twitter
is he doubtful?
He is questionable. Actually, I believe we should check, but I do believe it is a questionable designation for Mr. Burns this week.
Good to hear. Hopefully withdraws before the cut. That would be a cash.
Yep.
Nice.
Let's see here. Golf injury report.
He's just been so bad, and he switched drivers apparently too.
Sounds free to me.
It's yeah.
I just want to.
The other place you could go is Hideki. To be honest, I know Hideki's like
that's a good.
Been really good. Like he's been good here, and he normally would fit the profile of TPC Sawgrass really well. The problem is he's still not right from his neck injury. So
yeah. But
yeah.
Again, I like those plays. I think we profit. No guaranteed winners this week. Haven't been in a few weeks, but I mean, Sam Burns missed. Yeah. I just want to thank the books for Eric Cole plus money last week. Yeah, that was just so funny. As soon as he got into the back nine,
he fell apart.
One shot into the ahead of the cut line, as soon as he made one bogey, there was no chance he was bouncing back. So it was great to watch his 7 over back nine or whatever it was.
Elise, I had a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So I never really 100% considered it, but I was looking at Hideki outright for just a minute. He's 85-1. The course history
makes sense.
I know he's hurt, but the course history is so good, and the ball striking for the most part is still decent. I feel for a long shot, at 85-1 for a dude who's that good here, it still isn't the end of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I would be really hesitant to take that. I know it's so long, but people were betting last week Hideki at 66-1 because they were that's insane. And now he's even further than that. And he showed nothing to me in terms of him being right. And in fact, before last week, the neck issue, his Twitter tracker was saying stuff about his neck again, which was very worrying. So I'm wary of Hideki right now. I actually had him in a matchup against Rose, and that pushed. Rose was just really bad last week, but that somehow pushed. Hideki, Hideki's just he's not himself. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like I think Thegal is a much better play in rehab Thegal.
Yeah,
I
was happy to get Thegal.
Hideki is listed as doubtful on the injury.
Oh no.
He did arrive.
And folks, don't forget that it's doubtful to finish the tournament, not start.
Oh no.
Wow. He did arrive at practice early today on Tuesday. He said his neck is not getting worse. He doesn't have any pain. There seems to be no restriction on practice time. He might. Actually, he's been upgraded to questionable now. So big news there. We've got some more news on the Spieth front. He did make it through his practice round today, and if he can do that again tomorrow, he will be upgraded to probable.
I just don't understand how you go.
So that's
doubtful.
awesome.
I just don't understand how you go from doubtful to questionable. If you're doubtful until you play.
Yes. I'd also like to note if you're looking at Mark Hubbard this week, he is questionable with the toe.
That's the problem. That's a massive problem.
That is actually, I was looking at Hubbard top 5, but I had to keep him off the card.
Although he apparently looked smooth and locked in on hole 17 today. But
well, I respect the grind from this account for getting all this information.
A toe is a tough issue too. There's a lot of things. Is it the big toe, Dan, or is it the middle toe? Do we have
they didn't specify. Also, Johnny Vegas questionable to probable now.
Nice to hear.
I think Vegas is healed now from his shoulder issue.
His shoulder.
He's had no issues.
Just rub some dirt on it, Mr. Vegas. Let's get out there.
Let's see. I'm looking for Mr. Burns. Oh, it's rumors.
Rumors.
That he might have
I'm
had
gonna
a back
read those
injury.
later.
He did
I may have to
switch a
pay the
smaller drive
the
order.
$5.99 on Patreon for the.
Yeah. Well, so
Yeah.
they're and then they're saying that the issue could be he just had a smaller driver. So
Oh,
So is he going to a different
Nice.
driver?
he did.
Yeah, he went to the Paradigm driver, Callaway Paradigm,
Oh.
apparently.
He went from the ST Triple Diamond to the Triple Diamond S.
Oh,
So he went from the super terrible Triple Diamond to the Diamond Superb. I don't know, but we'll see. I what an injury report though. It's long. I
It's
mean,
lengthy. I mean, this
it's
is
nice to get the probable tag on guys like Spieth and Vegas, but
Is that the Ravens injury report? Is that the PGA Tour?
oh,
Like,
haha. We do have a question from a fan this week.
we do.
oh,
We do.
Thoughts on
Mr. Corner.
Christian Bezuidenhout this week, Elise?
Oh God. I actually had him last week for top 40, and he did not hit.
yeah, I hate Bez so much.
I-
Most of it's just because of Max, but
He's just. I mean, I will say, one time I don't know. Bez is. He's just. Let me just pull up his profile.
I bet him top 40 at
I feel like there's worse plays.
at
I
the
mean-
at the API last week, and he let me down quite a bit.
Well, he let me down
Nice.
too. I also played him top 40. I mean, he's losing strokes in his last 3 out of 4 starts.
good to see.
He's
Good to see.
his approach is like horrendous. I don't know. I'd be very worried. I'd be
Unfortunately,
very
I bet Max has
skeptical of
already wagered.
Christian Bezuidenhout.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
He could pop though. He's got a good short game, good putter.
he
Could
I mean,
see
for
his
a top
name.
40, like
he could.
I
worst
hope
plays,
he
I would
misses the
feel.
cut. I hope he misses the cut.
that's tough.
I'll just put that.
Yeah.
Unless he wants to come on the pod. If he wants to come on the pod.
Yeah, I didn't mean to trash Callaway's drivers either. You know, if they'd
Yeah,
like
if
to send
Callaway
us one
wants
to
to
try out, that'd be
if they want to shoot us a sponsorship, we are more than open. All right, we do not currently have a club
deal.
sponsor on our staff on our website right now. So if Callaway wants to shoot us over, I mean, we're currently in talks with Shrixon. So if you guys
PXG as well. PXG.
yes, if you guys want to kind of jump in front, we'd be happy to give you
Our time.
yeah.
absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah. Anything else? I heard this is random, but I think I heard that Gold Boy will not be around this
I
week.
did hear about that.
That's just sad.
Tough.
So RIP Gold Boy.
RIP Gold Boy.
I hope
RIP match play.
RIP
Yeah.
match. Play. Yeah, we didn't really get into too much into
we might have
that.
we might have to create a separate podcast just for a memorial.
Well,
For
match
the
play's
good
coming up. So
format
like,
in
we'll be able
golf.
to talk about
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah, it'll be
JT's
up.
missing. News is JT's missing apparently the last
Good,
match
good.
there ever
Yeah.
is.
What does
So,
that mean? JT's going to Valero.
No.
He's going to Valspar. He said.
Yeah.
Oh, but is
Isn't-
he's
is
not going to play
Rory's-
2
no,
weeks
Rory's
before the
playing.
Masters?
Wait, what?
Was
I
I
don't know.
saying something? I said,
don't
is
know.
Rory playing match play or is he skipping?
He is playing match play,
Okay.
Rory can't skip anymore because he's already skipped.
Yeah.
Century.
but I think Rory will still be at Valero though. I think Rory plays 4 weeks in a row.
If
That's
Rory
I think that's
skips,
I think that's a mistake for the Masters.
yeah,
Really,
Valero's
but the
not-
Masters is the 3rd week out of those 3 out of 4.
Yeah,
So
I just want to say 2 things. One thing is, I know we were just talking about
Speed is
Bez
winning the
and how-
Masters anyway because it's on
Yeah,
Easter.
it's a good
It's on
point.
Easter on
Very
Sunday.
true, very true. But I just want
And
to
he's
say that
trending.
Grace,
He fits the trends.
he does.
Continue.
And I
Grayson
apologize-
Sig is not welcome on the podcast if he wants to come on. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh my
Grayson
gosh.
Sig, Grayson Sig has cost him
Why?
too much.
With the FRL, he's more than welcome.
You don't
Okay,
have
fine.
to.
If the
You don't have
FRLs,
to be
he's more than
here when
welcome.
we interview Mr. Sig
Um,
after his players triumph.
Yeah, if he
Do we have-
triumphs at the players, I will be in shambles. But
I have a
then
couple
again-
more things. Just a couple like course things regarding Sawgrass. So I mentioned it like a few weeks ago, to all you guys. The 9th hole is being lengthened.
Nice.
so it can play 20 yards longer. I hate it. I think Bob said he hated that change too. It's already tough to reach. Like
It's
of all the holes
pathetic.
to lengthen, I don't know why you're lengthening 9 and speed.
It'll be nice because that hole's an annual bogey for Spieth, an annual 6 every year. Makes a mess around that green. So now he'll actually probably lay up to wedge distance and just hit it to 35 feet.
I think
and
it's
make par.
supposed to be downwind the Friday through Sunday.
All right, so we're
Interesting.
dropping 3 behind the pond.
The block into the pond. That's possible. I think
Artillery block.
I think another thing that's going to be I'm really I saw this on Cameron McCormick's Instagram. He was with Tom Kim either this morning on Tuesday morning or Monday morning. The rough looks thick. Like I'm excited to see some of these lies. We have never seen this with Sawgrass. I mean, you're going to be like it might be like API. Like if you're in the rough, I don't think you might be getting a green in regulation. You might be coming up short. Fairways are really going to be at a premium. And the wind forecasted Wednesday, which Dan noted, it's going to firm the place up. And all week long, like it's not like there's not going to be any wind. Like I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that we get a winner in the single digits. I really don't think it's entirely impossible with how the rough is going to be. And if it gets a little windy and it's firmer than maybe we might think it might be, might be a little bit dicey out there, which should be a fun viewing experience.
Yeah, if the rough's gonna look like that, it's gnarly, right? And we'll see. Put some more emphasis on the short game as well. Those 40-yard pitch shots from tightly mown areas. If you get it back in the fairway, another reason I do not like Morikawa this week. But
yeah, I know there's a lot of people that like. Well, driving accuracy is going to be like kind of important, and so that makes me like guys like JT and Spieth much less because JT is 171 in driving accuracy percentage, and Jordan is I think just 177. So they're terrible. The 2 of them are terrible.
Nice.
Terrible.
So you're saying it's Kisner week?
Kisner's washed. Sorry.
Chill, Elise. Kisner will be triumphing in a few weeks.
One last time.
One last time. That's
Kisner's played well here too. He was in the playoffs against Ricky, so
he was 4th last year too.
His form has been awful, and that playoff was 8 years ago.
He has no form right now.
So, yeah. Anyway, just
is Mr. Kisner's card like in jeopardy?
No, because he won the Wyndham at 21.
How many years does that get you?
3.
Okay.
Or 2.
Yeah, Kisner's trending way down.
Mr. Kisner nears the Champions Tour.
Way down.
How old is he?
38.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably 12 years plus from the Champions Tour.
You gotta be 50?
39. He's 39 now.
Okay. 10 years. He's a decade away.
He's the same age as my older sister.
Wow. Man. Life moves quick, man.
It does. Mr. Spieth was talking about that in his presser today, how life moves quick with, being a father, which was pretty cool.
Mr. Spieth is turning 30 this summer.
Oof. Wow.
He's officially old.
Yeah, he is not a young chap anymore. But I also one more thing. We're kind of running on fumes here, and this is the point where Jordan's about to end the podcast because I say something.
I'm just chilling.
What
are you gonna say?
I need to go. I need to go anyway. So.
All right. We thank you, Elise, for coming on.
But
yes,
say your one.
Okay, so I was just gonna say that there's been some epic calls with the players. Obviously, better than most is unreal. I was disappointed to find out or relive that the Fowler shot on 17 in the playoff. He says it's good now, Roger, instead of it's good now, Johnny, and that broke my heart because I thought it was good now, Johnny, for so long. I've been saying that for years, and it's fucking Roger, not Johnny, and I'm disappointed. So I just needed to say that. And if you thought it was Johnny too, I hope you feel a little bit disappointed because Johnny's just way better than Roger if you think about it.
You sound
That's my
emotional
final
there.
point.
Stop.
I am. It sucks, dude. I've been saying it's good now, John, like literally for years. And to find out it's Roger is like, it's a heartbreaker, man.
That's tough.
But maybe we'll get a good, it's good now, Smiley this week. I don't know. That
Oh
sounds
my
good.
Did they have Smiley?
That would be something.
Thanks for that.
Smile,
Yeah.
Smiley. Jordan's winning.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That'd be chills.
Did anyone see that this week?
What?
Jordan Spieth winning?
Spieth winning?
No.
I don't not see it,
No, thanks.
but I have serious doubts. The rough being up is quite concerning.
I'm still in so much pain from him not winning last week.
yeah. This is
had
not
him.
his week. I think
I've
Valspar
yet to recover.
will look pretty good. Anyway, that's all I've got. I don't know if you guys have anything else, but this was good. This was fun.
Yeah, I think Elise will be back for the Masters, which is what?
Card
4
is already
weeks away.
done. I will preview that. My card is already done.
Card is already done.
Wow.
And I will spoil Mr. Spieth is on the card.
Yep.
I had to throw that in there because
been on the card for a year.
there's a decent chance Mr. Spieth might be on all 4 of our cards.
Yeah,
Yes.
I see
miscut.
that being very possible.
True.
Miscut.
If he misses another cut at the Masters, I'm gonna shoot myself.
There will be tears shed by I think all 4 of us.
If
It's the easiest
Spieth,
major to make the cut in.
Yeah.
I promise you that if Spieth wins the Masters, the live podcast is going to be. I mean, we're gonna have so many people on here. It's just gonna be it's just gonna be like just a
A
tear
giant
fest.
party.
Yeah,
We're all
it's
gonna be
giant party.
crying. It's gonna be unbelievable.
Yeah.
But a man can dream because
Hey,
Probably not
it
reality.
might happen. But yeah, we'll see you
Well
guys for the recap on probably Monday morning. It'll be out, I would think. But
Live
thank
on
you for
Sunday
tuning
night.
in. Oh, that's
after a
possible
win.
too. That is possible too. But take care.
See you,
See you
folks.
guys.
yeah.